Okay, let's start working on the comment section. Now this can potentially have a lot of features, but I'm just going to keep it pretty simple to start. For example, we're just going to have replies available on the idea itself and not on individual comments. So we'll start with the models and migrations and rendering it in the view in this video. So let's start with a model, PHP artisan make model, let's call it comment, and say -a for everything else. Okay, and let's start with the migration. So create comments table, okay, and let's start with the actual comment. So I'm going to name it, let's name it body. So table text body. Comment would be a better name, but we'll run into this situation where we do comment, and I don't want that. Okay, actually this goes above the timestamp, and we're going to have two relationships here, so let's add them. So the first one is the user. So for an ID, it's going to be named the user ID, and that's constrained to the users table. Okay, and the next one is for the idea. So same thing, but for idea. Okay, and that's all we need for now. So let's go ahead and add those relationships. Let's start with the user. So a user has many comments, and a comment belongs to a user. So let's just copy this one here for ideas or ideas and say the same thing, but for comments. Okay, this has many comment class. And the same for idea. So we'll just grab this, go to idea and paste it in. Let's put it here. Okay. And for the actual comment, let's add those relationships. Actually, let me add guarded to an empty array first. Okay. And let's add those. So user. So return this belongs to a user. Okay. And the same for an idea. So let's just duplicate this and change this to an idea and this as well. Okay. Now let's work on our comment factory. So we have some data and also for testing. So for the standard definition, let's do that first. So just like in our migration, we have a user ID, and that can just use the user factory to generate one. User factory. Okay. And the same for an idea. So let's add an idea, change this to an idea. Let's import those and idea. Okay. And we need a body here. So I'll say body, and let's just use faker here. This faker. Let's make a paragraph with 5 sentences. Okay. Sorry, that should be a comma. And just like in our idea, we have a different state for our database seeder. And I believe I named it existing. Sorry, not idea. Idea factory. So here's the standard definition, and here's the existing definition. So let me grab this. Let's paste that in. Let's name it the same. But we only need the user ID here. And in this case, I'm gonna leave it here because we have 20 users in our database seeder here. Okay. So now let's generate some comments for each of the ideas after we do this. So let's say generate comments for ideas. So at this point, we should have all of our ideas. So let's go ahead and loop over those. So let's say for each, say idea all as idea. Okay. And let's just generate, let's just generate some comments for each of those ideas. So we can use that factory. So let's say comment factory, say 5 comments for each idea. And let's use that state so it's constrained to the number of users we have in this database seeder. So existing is the name of the state we just made. Let's create, and we do want to use the idea in each loop here. So idea ID is the idea ID. Okay. So let's import comment. And let's try migrate fresh seed. Okay, looks like it worked. Let's check our database here. Should be a new comments section here. Let's refresh this. There it is. And we do have 500, which makes sense because we have 100 ideas and I generated 5 comments for each idea. And it looks like the users are constrained to those 20 users. So it is working. Cool. Okay, so now let's work on rendering the comments in our browser here. So we want to render it in here. So I'm going to do the same thing I did for the ideas. And that's have 2 components. So one component is called, for the ideas index. And that's responsible for fetching the ideas. And then we have another component responsible for rendering the individual idea. So let's do that. So let's go in here. Let's make 2 Livewire components. So say PHP artisan Livewire make. It's called the first one that fetches the comments, idea comments. And then the second one is called idea comment for one of them. Okay. So let's start with the idea comments. So let's go into that. This will accept the comments, but that comes from the idea. So I guess I'll just accept the idea. So same as the other components. So public idea. And let's make a mount method here. Takes in the idea. Okay. And let's assign it. This idea is idea. Again, you don't have to do this. You can just declare the variable up here and it should do it automatically. But since I already have it this way, I'm just going to keep it consistent. Okay. So like I said, we want to pass in the comments here. So we can do that in here. So let's say comments is this idea comments. Okay. That should be good. So now in our show blade, where we're rendering placeholder comments, let's replace it with our new component here. So that would be this in the browser, which is all dummy data for now. Or not even dummy data, just hard-coded. Or one hard-coded idea, I mean. So that would be, where is it? Right here, I believe, somewhere. Actually, I think I have it in the idea show component. Actually, no, it's right here in the show blade. So I have this for each that just loops over this one div with the comments. So let's just grab this entire thing, which is the comments container. So let's just grab that and say, actually, let's put it above these modules and notifications. So right underneath the idea, say Livewire idea comments, and let's pass in the idea. Okay. See if this renders. Actually, we have to add what I just cut into our idea comments. Okay, let's paste that in and let's re-indent. Okay, so let's see if this still renders. Should be the same, and it is. But now we should have access to that comments variable. So let's work on that. So now we can loop over those comments and render out a single comment. So say for each comments is the variable we're passing in with all of our comments for this idea. Say comments as comment, and we'll make a new Livewire component here. Say Livewire, or we have one already, idea comment. And for this, we're going to accept a key, and that will be the comment ID. Okay. And the comment is the comment, and that should be good. So let's go ahead and go to that component. So idea comment, and let's just take some code from our idea comments. It's the same thing, but we're accepting a comment now. So we'll just grab this. Let's paste that in here. So now it's a comment. Okay, let's change this to a comment. Let's import that. should be that one. And this is now comment. Okay. So let's save that. And now we can go back to our component here. So idea comments, and we can get rid of this for each. And we can grab this entire comment container and put it in our new component. Okay. And what's this one for? Oh, this is for the case when it's an admin content. So we'll worry about that later. Okay, so this should be good. Save that. Let's go into our idea comment. And let's go ahead and paste this in. Okay, let's re-indent. And now, if I did this correctly, it should render 5 comments because we have 5 in the database for each idea. And there is 5, so it is working. So let's go ahead and replace this data with the actual data for the comment. So let me get rid of this. We don't need this commented code. So this is the comment itself. So I named that comment body. This is the timestamp. And we can use Carbon here. Comment created at, and let's say, sorry, it's created underscore at diff for humans. Okay. This is the username. So let's say comment user name. Okay. And then we have the avatar. So this, I believe, comment user, and we have that method for our avatar called get avatar. Okay. So I believe that's everything. Let's go ahead and refresh this page. And it looks like it does work. Cool. Looks like there's some extra margin that I don't need here. So let's see what's going on there. So yeah, there's an MT3 here, which I don't need. So let's get rid of that. So it's called right there. So let's get rid of that. Okay. Okay, now let's work on the case where there's no comments. So for example, let's just make a new comment here. So let me just log in real quick. And let's make a new idea here, which will have no comments. And I just want to have a placeholder there. So let's go ahead and add that comment. And this one will have no comments. So just like when there's no ideas, I want a placeholder here. So I don't have a design for this yet. So I'm just going to take what we have for the ideas. So if you don't remember, if I just search for gibberish, we have a placeholder image here. So we'll do the same thing. So I believe that's in ideas index. And there should be a for else in here. Yeah, so loop over them if they exist, but if not, then we have this placeholder, which we'll steal. Let's do the same for idea comments. And let's do the same thing. So let's try for else. Let's end the for else. And let's say empty. Okay. And let's try pasting that in and see how it looks. And let's say no comments were found. Or no comments yet is fine. No comments yet. Okay. And let's see how this looks in the browser. Let's go back to that new idea. Sorry, let's get rid of this. And that looks good to me. Actually, no, we have this line to the left because we have a comments container and I'm using the before pseudo selector. So I don't want that to appear. So we can't use a for else here. We have to use an if. So let me grab this again and let's undo everything here. Leave it as a for each. But now we just have to check if there are comments on this entire container. So let me just wrap everything in a new div because I think we need one root div for LiveWire components. So say div. And now we can check if there are comments, and if there are, go ahead and render the entire container. So let's do that. So if comments, say is not empty, then go ahead and render this entire thing. So let me just move this up into the if block. But if not, then go ahead and render that container with the image, the placeholder image. So let me paste that in, and this should work as well. Okay, but the line here is now gone. So let's just make sure that the comments still render for the other ideas, and it does. Cool. Okay, now let's update the comments count. So this is a separate component. So this is our idea show component. So let's go ahead and add it in there. So it's idea show, and we have this. So like I said, this is a separate component, so we don't have the comments in here. So we can load them in like this and count them. But let's take a look at our queries and models here. So let me open up the bug bar here, and we have 15 queries and 20 models. So let's see how many we get now after we added that code. So I did save it. Let's refresh. And it's still 15 and 20 right now, because at this point we are loading in every single model, or sorry, every single comment. So we'll leave it for now, but we may have to switch this later on when we do pagination for comments. So let me just add the word comments in here. Okay. And that looks good. We also have to change it on the index page here. So let's go ahead and update that. So this will be on the idea index page. Okay. So let's do the same thing. So let's just grab that. Okay. And let's paste that in. So idea comments count, but again, keep an eye on the number of queries and models. So we have 9 and 42. And then we have 19 and 87. So it looks like we do have an n+1 issue here. So we can fix that using eager loading. So we did the same thing for votes here. So let's go to our ideas index. And down here, like I said, we're doing the same thing for our votes using the with count method. We can do the same thing for comments. But now we also have to pass in the comments count like we did for the votes. So for our ideas index, actually no, I don't think we have to pass that in because it should be on the idea directly. So let me just dump the idea here, and we should see a comments count. So let's refresh. Sorry, the ideas. Okay. And yeah, you can see a comments count here. So 0 for the first one, and if I scroll down more, the next one should be 5. So yeah, you can see 5 on the rest of them. Okay, so we can just grab it from the idea directly. So let's get rid of this. Let's go to our ideas index, or sorry, idea index. And let's change this to idea comments count. Okay, and now you can see the n+1 issue should be solved. So actually, let me put that back for a second, just so we can get the numbers again. So 1987, but if I change it to this, it should be less. And we're back down to 9 and 42. So there's one more case I want to handle, and that's when we delete an idea with comments. So this is going to fail now for the same reason it failed when we had votes initially. So let's go ahead and try to delete this comment, and you'll see what I mean. Delete. And we do get this integrity constraint violation because the idea we're trying to delete is referenced on another table. So we have to delete those first. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's update our tests first. So we can go to delete idea test, and we have a similar one here for the votes. So this one. So it's basically the same thing, but for comments. So let's duplicate this. Let's say deleting an idea with comments. Okay, works when user has authorization. So we don't care about votes anymore, but we do care about comments. So let's go ahead and just add one here. So comment factory. And let's just add create, and the user ID is, actually it doesn't matter who created it. So let's do comment factory create, import comment. And we should get that same error because we have a comment on it. Okay. And we do get an error, but we don't get that database error. Let's see if I remove this. Will we get that error? It is passing, but why? Oh, sorry. We do have to add an idea here. So it has to be the idea we're looking at, obviously. So idea ID is idea ID. And now this should result in that error. And it does, I think. Let's scroll up. Yeah, so we do get that database error. So let me put this back. And it should still fail. This is the correct assertion. We want to make sure after we delete, we have 0 ideas. So let's go ahead and fix that in our actual code. So that should be in delete idea. So we're doing the same thing, but we want to delete comments. So this should be comment, and let's import comment, and that should be good. So now our test should pass, and it does. Let's go ahead and try it in the browser. Refresh, and this has comments, but if I delete it, actually let's take a look at our comments database here. Our comments table, we have 500, and after I delete it, it should be 495. Delete. Okay, and now 495, so it is working. So yeah, I think that's all the cases I want to handle in this video, so let's go ahead and make a commit. So this is episode 48, and sorry about this merge I had to do. I undid a commit and I already had it on the GitHub repo, so I had to do a merge conflict fix. But this is episode 48, git add, git commit episode 48. Let's say comment, migration, and models, or model.